Hey guys, Krill Legacy here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a little bit of an update on what is going on on World of Warcraft, and what is going on with me, what classes I have chosen, what modifications I have made, what is going on in general. Alright, so the point is this. Something happened I was not expecting it. It is a small thing, but it's actually kind of important to me. And yeah, I'm adjusting to that. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. The plans for this season included deciding one main healer and one main DPS. Those classes would have been the classes that I would have played throughout all season 1, and then during season 1 I would have leveled up other classes and be ready to enjoy other classes in the upcoming seasons, right? Then when the World Within launched, they also gave us kind of quite a long downtime between the launch and the beginning of the season itself. And during this time, I found myself like wondering, what am I gonna do, right? And as many other players did, I just decided to level up alts. So I leveled up my main healer, which was always gonna be Holy Paladin. I did, I loved it, I enjoyed it. We're gonna be talking about Holy Paladin in a second. Then I leveled up my main DPS, which for this season I wanted to be Assassination Rogue. I leveled it up. I enjoyed it. I'm loving it, actually. Also, a few changes on the PTR have made Outlaw Rogue viable as well, which also sounds like a lot of fun, so there is that too. And then, when the downtime started to become apparent to me as well, I have decided to, as you can see from the monitor, just pick up my Demon Hunter, right? A few videos popped on my YouTube feed saying that Demon Hunter was fixed, the full scar was fixed, and it was a lot of fun. And since in the past I had a lot of fun with Demon Hunter, I just told myself, why not, right? Just pick up the Demon Hunter and have fun. And god damn it if I did. I picked up the Demon Hunter, I leveled it up to level 80, and I had a lot of fun. So much fun. I was not expecting this class to be this fun, right? So I would like to start here. Issue number 1 for the season, I have to decide what I want to play for a DPS, right? So now I have the doubt. Am I going to play Assassination Rogue or am I going to play Demon Hunter? Right, Assassination Rogue has its pros. For instance, it is considered meta at the moment, meaning that it's going to be much easier to get into groups and to be able to push Mythic Plus or whatever. Plus, it has a little bit of a sturdier build. You have access to two charges of feint, and then you have access to a lot of other defensives and defensive options in general. So, you know, class is there. And yeah, overall it's looking like a solid pick. But Demon Hunter, man. Just what the fuck is on with this class? Is going on with this class? Is so much fun. Alright, so I would like to start with Demon Hunter. Alright, let's take a look at for a second to what changed this season. This expansion rather. I don't remember exactly how the 3 was, but what I can tell you is that Demon Hunter feels very much the same. It feels like a Dragonflight post-rework Demon Hunter, alright? But they have smoother things all across the class in a way that makes the class feel so much lighter, alright? So, let's take a look at the hero talents first, right? First of all, at the moment, it feels like Felskard is the only viable option. Not in terms of numbers, because Aldrachi River seems to be able to pull numbers just as good as Felskard, at least for single target. But it seems to be an unsustainable playstyle. Too complicated, too convoluted, too many things to do, too many variables, too much of a punishment in case you do something wrong. So it's just not feeling good. Like, it's not cooked. It's undercooked. They need to work on that. And for the moment, I think we should just look at Demon Hunter as a class with one, as Avok Demon Hunter as a class with one talent build, and that is Felskard. So just taking a look at it, we can see that they have made it with the first hero talent here, the introduction of something great, which basically says the Metamorphosis now also causes Demon Blades to generate 5 additional fury, yeah, sure. While Demon Form is active, the first cast of each empowered ability induces a Demon Surge, causing you to explode with fell energy, dealing a bajillion damage to nearby enemies. Right, now this is just, this could be like a simple skill if you didn't read between the lines, but if you do, you'll actually notice that this damage is uncapped. So the damage is not reduced beyond a certain number of targets, right? And given that it is uncapped, it does something amazing. First of all, it does a ton of damage and helps with the meters, as you can see right here. This is just a random dungeon in which I played terribly because I was on Discord with friends, all right? So just take a look at it. You can see the Demon Surge is giga on top of my damage, and if it's not on top, it's just second. And yeah, what this does, basically, it covers that part of the damage profile of the Demon Hunter that wasn't as good as the others, which is uncapped targets. We always had, especially back in the past, decent single target, very good cleave, and an amazing, well, rather than amazing, a good AoE. But then beyond a certain number of targets, we would just drop off, right? And now this like covers that so much, and the class, the damage profile feels so much more complete now that it's actually amazing. Obviously, we are not unholy DKs. We are not destruction warlocks. That's not what defines us. It's not the uncapped damage. But the Giga AoE this season is going to be such a sweet treat for us. So, yeah, that is just talent number 1. If we go below, we will notice that there are things like, yeah, always, even this talent right here, Focus Hatred. Demon Surge deals 50% increased damage when it strikes a single target. You noticed you may have noticed that there is a patch saying that this is going to be changing, and basically it will give us 60%, if I recall, increased damage to a single target, and then if it's 2 targets, it's going to be 40, and if 3 targets, it's going to be 20, and so basically there are a few brackets for the reduction, but it's overall a net buff because it caters the damage profile to that of a cleaving situation, which is amazing. We really needed that. All right, then just here on the right, you can see that there is a set fire to the pain. This is such a sweet talent. Basically, it says that 5% of all non-fire damage taken is instead taken as a fire damage over 6 seconds. Basically, it's like delaying a part of the damage that you take and helping healers to keep up with the healing that they need to put on us. And additionally, it basically helps a lot given that we have a lot of leech. Since that damage is delayed, we're going to be having a much higher chance to just get it back through leeching, which is amazing. Obviously, it's not like we're becoming a tank because of this talent right here, right? But it is something. And if you consider that we have that, and then we have the little shield that we get off of Blade Dance, and then we have the defensive, and then we have darkness, and then we have the iframe, and then we have the damage reduction that we get off of Immolation Aura. All of these little things, plus the leech, the class is getting better and better every time that they touch it. This is actually good news, right? Then there is this other talent right here, which I think is very interesting. I'm not covering all the talents. I'm just trying to, highlight what I think it's making Demon Hunter so much fun. This is Monster Rising right here. Agility is increased by 8% when you're not in demon form. Well, what I think is the purpose of this talent, together with other talents like Initiative, Immolation Aura, plus Fell Rush, and Glaive Tempest, is basically giving us a better downtime. Demon Hunter used to be a class very much bounded to his cooldowns. So whenever you were in your cooldowns, you were dealing a ton of damage, and whenever you were outside the cooldown, you were dealing shit damage. And they are actively trying to change that. As of the rework in the previous seasons, they reduced the cooldown of Metamorphosis, and then now they're doing something for us outside the cooldowns. Having access to Glaive Tempest, granted it's not like it's a million damage, but it's still good damage. Having such a good hunt at the moment, together with the fact that we have Immolation Aura plus Fell Rush to get initiative, inertia rather, and then the fact that we have access to initiative through Vengeful Retreat, plus the fact that the sigil actually deals a decent amount of damage and has a decent utility, the class is starting to feel like a complete class even outside the cooldowns, right? And the fact that this simple talent here gives us 8% extra agility, like main stat, outside the cooldowns, I think it's such a simple yet perfect talent, and it's also a very easy to access tuning knob, right? Basically, they can just by just buffing it or nerfing it, they can just deal with all the damage that we do just only outside the cooldowns, which is perfect, right? So overall, the class is feeling a little bit tankier. The damage profile is much more complete. We have access to uncap. We will have access to better cleaving. It's just amazing, right? Just amazing. So at the moment, I feel like it's gonna be tough for Assassination Rogue to push me off of Demon Hunter. All right. Now that we've up on Assassination Rogue, let's discuss a few things that I think are important for rogues as well. What does it feel like to play a rogue for the first time, right? I'm a rogue first timer, right? I decided I wanted to play this class because I just fucking love the the theme of it and the overall way the class looks and feels and the fantasy behind it, right? So I decided that rogue was the option for this season. And I decided to pick up Assassination for the reasons that I mentioned to you earlier. Sure, I like the class. Sure, I like to play it. And I was attracted by the fantasy and I was attracted by the way it looked. But I also wanted a class that I could play, that I could actively play without having people pushing me off groups or off rides because of my pick, right? So not necessarily a meta pick, because I don't really care about the meta, but a class that was feeling strong and that would have been accepted by groups, right? So not having a guild and not having a group means that I need to think of that as well. So I did. And I decided to play Assassination Rogue. Playing Rogue for the first time, it is a thing. It is a very weird experience because the class feels much more complicated and convoluted than almost all the other classes that I have played. I usually play healer, and playing an healer, it's not like mechanically that complicated. The classes, they usually are very straightforward, even classes like Preservation Evoker. You know what you have to do, and then the hard part is actually doing it at the proper time, at the proper moment, and responding to various situations, right? But when you're playing a DPS, your main goal is to survive and provide damage and utility, right? So it's just a matter of optimizing, min-maxing. And Rogue doesn't make it that easy, in my opinion. And while these might sound like a bad thing, I actually think it's a good one, because it is so much fun. It's just fun. The optimizing game on this class feels good, right? It feels nice to learn how to play the class and what you can do and what you can change and how you can improve and so on and so forth. So obviously I'm getting much better results on Demon Hunter at the moment because it is so much easier than Rogue. But I'm also starting to improve on Rogue as well, and I can see that, because my uptimes are higher on all of my dots and all of my buffs and all of the debuffs, and also my cooldown management is getting better and better, and plus I'm positioning better, I'm understanding better all the elements that make Rogue not just work, but work particularly well, right? So overall, this discovering experience, this learning curve has been fun, just straight up fun. Okay. So let me go through a few things that I think are making Rogue so much fun. All right. So briefly, because I don't have enough experience to act like a cool kid, but I also have understood a few things about the class, and so I want to sum them up quickly before we start discussing Rogue. How does assassination work? Basically, assassination requires you to place bleeds on your opponent, maintain the dots, and then adjusting your skill choices based on what you're facing. So you're going to be using Fen of Knives, or Mutilate, depending on the fact that you're hitting one or more target. And then we're going to be spending the combo points that we get on Envenom and maintaining basically these 3 dots that you can see right here. Rapture, Garrote, and Crimson Tempest. Crimson Tempest is bounded basically just to AoE. Every guide that I've read told me that I should use it only on 3+ targets, so this is one of the dots that you cannot think about. And then additionally, there is another dot that is very important to keep up, which is Caustic Spatter. By applying these 1, 2, and 3 dots every time, and properly using your stealth to do so, because whenever you're using stealth, you can like leave the dots on Garrote. You basically have set yourself up for a basic rotation, and then there is the addition of these 3 cooldowns, which is Death Marks, Shiv, and Kingsbane, together with Thistle Tea. So all of that comboed together, plus your trinkets for the downtime and when you need to recover energy and so on and so forth. And the class is feeling good. It feels like playing piano. I've been told that the real piano class is Enhancement Shaman. Never played Enhancement Shaman, so I wouldn't say so. But I felt like that definition suited the Assassination Rogue quite well. And so, yeah, to me, at the moment, this is my piano class. It's the class that I use to learn how to be a better WoW player. So yeah, again, overall the class is feeling amazing. It's fun. It looks cool as shit. I still don't have enough. Transmogs to say that, but I'm feeling it. Okay, I can see the other players, and I'm envious. I'm jealous of their transmogs. So yeah, that is that. And then finally, I think I've said everything that I need to say about Rogue. Well, I could just add this. The class is fucking immortal. Like, if you play it properly, dying as a rogue, you're basically dying at the same time that a tank is. You're dying last, which is good. It feels good, and also it is forgiving. While it might not be that forgiving in terms of DPS, if you fuck something up, you're gonna pay the price, and the meters are gonna show it, like, clearly. Well, in terms of survivability, the class has access to so many different tools. Like, you have some sort of an item here with Clock of Shadows, then you have 100% dodge on evasion, and then you have 2 charges of feint, and then you have Crimson Vial, and all this stuff has such a low cooldown. My god, it's fucking immortal, which feels amazing. Yeah, this basically is everything I need to say about Rogue at the moment. And then if you let me hop on my Paladin for a second, we'll discuss Paladin as well. Let's talk about Paladin then. What was I expecting when I first picked up Paladin for the season? I was expecting a payback for the last 2 seasons. That's basically what was I expecting. Playing Paladin season 3 and 4? Man, that was not a good experience at all. It's not like the class was shit, but it felt weird. Like, it felt like 5 different people were working on it without ever talking to each other. That's what it felt playing Paladin in season 3 and 4. So since I always loved this class, I was really eager to be playing Holy Paladin again. So basically, as soon as I noticed the first rework on the beta, and I've been told that Paladin was decent again, even before it felt like Paladin was gonna be like busted as fuck. But even before that, I just told to myself, yes, this is gonna be Paladin season, right? And I'm still counting on it for many reasons. First of all, Paladin feels, to me, feels light. It feels like playing a light class, like a lightweight class. You have a lot of instacast. You can instacast your damage, rotation, all of it. You can instacast Consecration, you can instacast your Judgment, you can instacast your Crusader Strike, then you can instacast your Holy Prism, then you can instacast your Holy Shocks, then you can instacast your Words of Glory, then you can instacast your Light of Dawn, even though you don't cast it anymore, then you can instacast your Lay on Hands, you can instacast everything, which is such a feels good, you have no idea. Like, it feels... It feels so good that now that we are in the beginning of the season and we got such low haste, the goddamn GCDs take forever, and that is not a good feeling. That is why I'm pushing so much. I count on pushing so much on haste, even though it might not be the best throughput choice, but will just feel so much better to have access to better haste that I'm definitely gonna do that. All right. So why did I choose to play Paladin, and what I'm expecting from it in the practical sense of the sentence? Well, I chose Holy Paladin because it is a little more of a reactive healer. It is something that will help every beginner player, but also every player that want to focus more on team play rather than just focusing on yourself. Whenever you're playing in a unorganized environment such as a PAG, obviously you have your idea and your plan of how things are gonna go. Maybe you have spent a ton of time reading and researching and trying and testing, and so you also expect people to behave in a certain way, and then you'll find yourself in a position in which shit hits the fan, things are not going the way you planned, and then you need to respond to it, right? And classes like Preservation Evoker, for instance, which are classes that I love, make that reaction so much harder. Don't get me wrong, it's not like they can't do that. Actually, Preservation Evoker always has an healing answer to each problem, so it's not like they can't do that, but instead it's much harder for you to actually do that, right? And so I decided I chose Holy Paladin because it makes it feel like reacting to situations. It's an easy choice and it's a fun choice, right? And that's why I decided that Holy Paladin was going to be my main choice. I've been repeating the word forever, I'm sorry. So now for this season, what I needed to do was deciding what hero talent I was going to play, right? And the numbers choice would be playing Herald of the Sun, because it just works better. The throughput is higher, then combined with Beacon of Virtue, you have a better response to AoE burst damage and rot damage and so on and so forth. So yeah, the logic would be playing Herald of the Sun. Obviously, I don't know why I do this, but every time that there is an obvious choice, I go with the other one. I like the fantasy of Lightsmith more. Like so much more. I like the idea of playing the support role so much that it's just, I just want to play. I want to play goddamn Lightsmith, man. And so, yeah, my plan at the moment is playing Lightsmith Paladin for the next season until I can. And if it turns out that it's not viable, I will then switch to Herald of the Sun. But for the moment, my choice is going to be Lightsmith. Additionally, I like the as I was saying, I like the fact that I have holy armaments that I can use to buff my teammates. I can give holy bulwark to me and my tank, and I can give my basically my sacred weapon to a DPS and myself as well to buff our damage, and that feels good. Plus, it is some sort of passive healing, because once you've put out your bulwark, then you're just gonna harvest on the healing that it does, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else, which again, it's another good feeling. And in addition to all this, it looks like Lightsmith will be maybe not only Avenging Crusader will be viable playing Lightsmith, but it also looks like it might be the better option for Lightsmith, right? Which is intriguing, because I always fucking loved playing Avenging Crusader, like playing the melee, like light weaving, and more than light weaving is Crusader weaving or whatever. Holy Paladin playstyle to get some healing into my group, especially in raids, but also in Mythic Plus, right? And so for the moment, I will be playing this build, running Avenging Crusader, Awakening into into Lightsmith, obviously. And I'm debating on whether I would like to use Veneration as well. But the price to pay to get Veneration in terms of talent is feeling a bit steep. So I don't really know if I'm gonna be playing that or not. We'll see. We'll see what we're gonna be doing with the Holy Paladin. One thing for sure though is that if this build turns out not be viable, I will then just resort to the meta build for Paladin as well. Because as I mentioned like a few minutes ago while talking about Rogue, I want to play the things that I like, but I also want to compete, and I also want to win, and I also want to be part of groups and guilds and stuff. And so at a certain point, I'm just going to drop my personal preference in favor of what works better. And I think it's something that I need to learn to do. Most people tend to tell you to just play whatever you like, which I agree. Let's just don't get me wrong. I agree. Just play whatever you like, but do it smart. So if you want to be playing Holy Paladin, it's fine. Play Holy Paladin. But just playing Holy Paladin and then playing the worst build of Holy Paladin and then sticking to it no matter what doesn't really seem like the smart play. At least not in my book. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to make this build work, and if it doesn't, I'm just going to resort to the meta build on Holy Paladin. Now that we finally discussed all the three classes, it basically leaves us with discussing what I'm doing at the moment. What I'm doing at the moment is actually quite fun, because it's the first time that I'm doing it. And I am sitting up here with my notes, my little notes right here. And I'm writing down stuff about my Mythic Plus rotation, my classes, the dungeons that I'm facing, the opponents. I'm taking notes on my gameplay as a whole, trying to systematically improve. Like I want to actively try to be a good player, not just better, but a good player overall, right? So I decided that I want to take notes. For instance, yesterday I was trying to elaborate a few data that I have gathered on the uptimes that I have on the buffs and debuffs on my Rogue, trying to optimize it and try to create some sort of mental note, right? Remember to do this, remember to do that, keep on using your growth, remember which target you apply the caustic spatter on, you know, this kind of reasoning, in order to make sure that I was playing with an intent and not just randomly like smashing buttons because they told me that those were the buttons for the opener, right? And I've been trying to do the same with the dungeon mechanics too, right? So I looked up video guides, and I'm trying to take notes on what mob is the most dangerous, what kind of reaction I could have in that specific situation, what kind of strategy would work here and there. And then that's been a lot of fun. My girlfriend, who also plays World of Warcraft, thinks I'm mad, thinks I'm crazy, because that takes away the fun. I don't know, it doesn't for me. Like I just think it's fun. If I could do this for a living, if I could study dungeons and improve for a living, that would feel amazing, right? So, yep, I've been doing that. And also, additionally, I've been trying to do something that I usually hate doing, which is optimizing my gearing path. As you can see from my character tab here, it's not like I have that much of an optimized character. I didn't have much time to play, and so I have kind of prioritized getting my characters ready more than my gear. And now that I'm done with Demon Hunter as well, I'm gonna be doing a lot more gearing. Before Wednesday, I'm expecting to be 585 on all three, or 581, 582, something around that, to be ready for M0. And then when M0 comes, I'm just gonna be trying to go as hard as my life allows me to go to get geared for the upcoming ride. In addition to that, I'm also trying to become a little less socially awkward. So I have updated my cards on raid.io, and I made sure that raid.io, let me show you, and I made sure that my recruitment cards were up and ready. I wanted to be I wanted to come up when people makes some sort of search looking for players, right? Or like guild recruitment or group recruitment, or even just friends to play M+. And so I did that. I have been listening to all Quozi's podcasts for a while, and what comes up in those posts is basically whenever you want to try to improve and whenever you want to try to get better, you need people. You need some sort of network. You need to learn from others. You need to have some sort of, I would say, a group of friends with who you can play and get better. And so my goal for this season is to do so. So ideally, I would like to find a guild with which I would like to raid on mythic level. I have never raided at mythic level, but I've also did everything I could with heroic. I did heroic week 1 on all my characters, on all 3 roles, for all the 3 raids that we had in Dragonflight. I know that doesn't say much, but it was the most that I could do without having a guild to raid Mythic Plus, and so to raid Mythic level, and so I did. I did that, and now I would like just to find a guild and try to go for the cutting edge. Obviously, there is a lot that I need to learn and a lot that I need to practice, but I think that's the good part. As I just said a second ago, I have so much fun practicing and trying to optimize and trying to get better. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Recruitment profiles. Yeah, this is what I was telling you. I said 1 up for Mythic Plus for my DPS characters. Then I set 1 other for Mythic Plus for my healing characters, which are going to be HPAL and Preservation Evoker. And then lastly, I set 1 as a healer for the raid, because I'm looking to raid. I have been told that the best way to do so, to find groups and people and raids and guilds and so on and so forth, is doing networking and padding your Warcraft logs. Every time that you search on the internet, they tell you that logs are not that important, and I believe it. I believe that they're not that important, but they're also the first thing that show up whenever you're trying to sell your profile. Right? I am this good, and you're going to be showing a lot. Now, obviously, after the log, you have to prove that you have the brains to play as a team, that you understand what it means, what it feels like, and what it means to play as part of a team, and that you understand that damage is not the only parameter, and so on and so forth. Obviously, those things are more important than damage itself, but the damage is the only one where you can just display an objective metric and say, look, I did this, right? I at least know my class good enough to be able to do this much damage. And so for the beginning of the season, I will log every single dungeon and try to improve in my logs more than I try to improve on my keys, which is gonna be weird, right? I usually play around 24 to 25 to 23, depending, up to 26, and once I did a few 27. So I will try to play around that range, something that goes between, I don't know, like 20 and 25. But I will try to focus a bit more on my personal performance and my team performance rather than just like timing the key and call it a day. So yeah, these are my plans for the future. And lastly, the last item that I wanted to discuss for today is how is World of Warcraft looking for the future? And am I excited for what's to come? Short answer is, fuck yes, man. I'm not excited. I'm giga excited. Long answer is, a lot of things are coming up in the next few days. First, next week, we're going to be having normal raid. In 2 weeks, we're going to be having heroic raids. In 3 weeks, we're going to be having mythic raids. And with mythic raids, Race for World First comes. And with Race for World First comes the meta discussion, the improvement, the season begins. So many things will begin all at once, and all of those things are competitive, and all of the things benefit from actively trying and possibly even tryharding, which is the part that I enjoy the most about this game. And so in addition to that, it looks like we're going to be having a giga event for the 20th anniversary, which is exciting as hell. In Season 4, for the first time, I tried to do something other than just competing, other than competitive activities rather than competing. And I did do my first transmog runs, and I did do my first mount runs, and I actually had more fun than I expected. So I'm also excited for the fact that we're going to be getting those old tier sets revisited and remastered. which sounds first of all sounds nostalgic, even though I didn't play back in the days I started with Dragonflight, so all that stuff is new to me, but it still feels nice to be part of the nostalgia hype train, right? So that is that. And the development team seems to be ultra active with new systems, with balancing, with events and stuff, which is all the more exciting if you ask me. And so yeah, the future is looking bright. In addition to all that, there is the matter of content creation. I have started this journey a couple of months ago. I am terrible at it. My editing is terrible. My streaming quality is terrible. I still hover around 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 viewers. That is hopefully gonna change. But it's exciting too. It's fun. I like it. I like to play with friends, and I like to play with my girlfriend, and I like to play with the people that hang out with us in the chat. And so, yeah, that is also going to be part of my excitement for the upcoming WoW future. So that was all, guys. I had a ton of fun even just recording this giga-long video. But other than that, thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. If you like the content, or if you, I don't know, like me, or if you want to hang out and have fun, or if you want to be part of the Mythic Plus team, or if you have a raid, well, you got the point. Just drop a like, contact me, join me in game or in stream, whatever you want. I just want to have fun, all right? So thank you all for coming, and I see you all in the next time. Bye.